King Charles betrayed by Queen Camilla? The royal love war no one saw coming. Welcome to BNews. The whispers inside Buckingham Palace have turned into a storm that can no longer be ignored. Could King Charles III, the man who waited a lifetime to ascend the throne, be facing betrayal not from foreign powers, not from politics, but from the very woman who stood by his side through scandal, scrutiny, and decades of controversy? The shocking idea that Queen Camilla may have betrayed Charles in ways far more complex than the tabloids ever dared suggest has gripped Britain and the wider world. What began as rumors has now escalated into full-scale debate. Is the royal marriage as strong as it appears, or are cracks beginning to form in the gilded facade of the monarchy? On this August 18, 2025, BNews dives deep into the scandalous royal love war that no one saw coming. A story that could reshape not only the future of the crown but the very legacy of Charles and Camilla's love story. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe to BNews, like this video, and join the comments below, because this is one royal revelation you'll want to weigh in on. From the outside, the story of Charles and Camilla has always been presented as one of enduring love against impossible odds. For decades, theirs was the affair whispered about in hushed tones, painted by critics as destructive and by supporters as destined. After the tragic death of Princess Diana, Charles's eventual marriage to Camilla was both the conclusion of a long and controversial saga and the beginning of a new chapter for the monarchy. The public was told that at last, Charles was with the woman he truly loved, that Camilla had been unfairly maligned, and that their bond was unshakable. Yet beneath that carefully managed narrative lies a reality more complicated. One that now faces fresh scrutiny. Sources suggest that what some are calling betrayal may not simply be about affairs of the heart, but about loyalty, influence, and power inside the monarchy. Queen Camilla, once branded the most hated woman in Britain, has slowly but surely risen from vilified mistress to respected consort. She is seen at Charles's side at state banquets, international visits, and solemn commemorations, embodying the role she fought so long to attain. But the whispers emerging from palace corridors hint at a darker interpretation of her ascent. Did Camilla, in securing her crown, also secure more influence than the king himself ever anticipated? Some insiders claim she has used her role to quietly reshape not only Charles's public image but his private decisions, earning herself a level of control that borders on alarming. If true, this wouldn't just be a love story, it would be a royal chess match, one in which loyalty and betrayal blur in dangerous ways. And so, the question of betrayal goes beyond the sensational. This is not just about whether Camilla's heart has strayed, but whether her actions, political, personal, and private, are undermining the very man she vowed to stand beside. In recent months, stories have emerged suggesting Camilla has quietly built alliances within the palace, ensuring her voice carries weight in matters far beyond ceremonial duties. Some reports even suggest clashes between Camilla and key royal advisors, with Charles caught in the middle. Is Camilla protecting her husband, or manipulating his reign for her own legacy? For a man who has waited decades for his time on the throne, the suggestion that his closest partner may not be his most loyal ally is a betrayal of the highest order. The notion of a royal love war adds another layer of intrigue. For decades, Charles's heart was the battlefield on which the future of the monarchy played out, first torn between Diana and Camilla, then reshaped by tragedy, scandal, and eventual reconciliation. Now, it appears history may be repeating itself in a different form. Except this time, the war is not about who Charles loves, but about whether the love he chose has come at the cost of loyalty, unity, and stability for the crown. And for the British public, who have endured decades of royal dramas, this is a revelation both shocking and strangely familiar. Could it be that the marriage once hailed as Charles's redemption is in fact his undoing? What makes this story so captivating is the idea that betrayal in the monarchy rarely looks the way it does in ordinary life. This is not simply a matter of broken vows or wandering hearts. In the rarefied world of royalty, betrayal can mean influence wielded in the shadows, alliances forged in secret, or whispers leaked to the press at strategic moments. And when it comes to Queen Camilla, her journey to the throne is proof that she has always known how to play the long game. She endured decades of ridicule, survived public hatred, and outlasted critics who swore she would never be accepted. To achieve all this required cunning, resilience, and determination. Yet it also begs the question, is the same determination now driving her to consolidate power, even if it comes at Charles's expense? One of the most telling elements in this unfolding saga is the timing. Charles's health, though officially stable, has long been the subject of speculation. At 76, his reign is already viewed as transitional, a bridge between the late Queen Elizabeth II's legacy and the future King William. Against this backdrop, any moves by Camilla to secure her own influence carry enormous weight. If she is indeed making decisions or swaying outcomes behind the scenes, it could alter not only Charles's reign but the monarchy's entire trajectory. And for a king who has finally achieved the throne after decades of waiting, the idea that his power could be diluted by his own queen is both tragic and dramatic. Another layer of betrayal emerges when we look at the relationship between Camilla and the younger generation of royals. Prince William, who has spent years rebuilding his public image alongside Catherine, Princess of Wales, reportedly remains cordial but cautious toward his stepmother. The scars of the past, particularly the role Camilla played in the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage, have never fully healed. Sources close to William suggest he views Camilla with respect but also with distance, aware of how public perception can shift at the slightest misstep. If Camilla's influence over Charles is seen as excessive, it risks reigniting old wounds and undermining the unity Charles desperately wants to project between generations of the royal family. This raises the stakes even further. If William perceives Camilla as steering the monarchy in ways that jeopardize his future reign, the result could be an unprecedented clash between the current king and his heir. For Charles, who has long sought to present a stable and united royal family, such a development would be nothing short of devastating. And yet, the possibility lingers. Has Camilla's determination to shape her own legacy crossed a line that threatens the very family she sought to join? If so, this would be the deepest betrayal of all, not only of Charles, but of the monarchy itself. As we consider the concept of betrayal, it's also important to recognize how the media shapes the narrative. The British press, once merciless toward Camilla, has in recent years adopted a more balanced tone. Yet the tabloid machine remains hungry for scandal, and few stories could be more tantalizing than a royal marriage in crisis. Every glance between Charles and Camilla, every rumor of tension, is dissected and magnified until speculation hardens into perceived truth. In this sense, Camilla's greatest vulnerability may not be her actions, but how they are interpreted. Could it be that what some describe as betrayal is, in fact, merely the consequence of a consort trying to assert herself in a world that still resists her? Or has the press stumbled upon a truth the palace desperately wishes to conceal? For Charles, the implications are enormous. His reign was always going to be defined by comparisons, to his mother's stability, to his son's popularity, to his wife's divisive history. To now face speculation that the woman he risked everything for may be undermining him is a painful twist of fate. It raises the haunting question, did Charles sacrifice his public standing, his marriage to Diana, and decades of credibility for a love that may not be as steadfast as he believed? And if that is true, what does it say about the very foundation of his reign? But perhaps the most shocking element of this story is not whether Camilla has betrayed Charles, but what betrayal actually means within their unique dynamic. This is a couple who has withstood extraordinary trials. For decades, their love was hidden, then condemned, then slowly legitimized. They have lived through scandals that would have destroyed most marriages, and they emerged from it all as king and queen. For betrayal to even be a possibility now suggests not just marital strain, but a fundamental re-examination of the entire narrative the monarchy has built around them. And here lies the dramatic heart of this saga. Is this truly betrayal, or is it the inevitable collision of ambition, power, and legacy within the confines of the crown? For Charles, who has spent his life balancing personal desire against public duty, the stakes could not be higher. For Camilla, who has fought her way from the shadows into the spotlight, this may simply be the latest chapter in a lifelong battle for acceptance. But for the monarchy itself, this love war could be the spark that reignites questions of trust, loyalty, and the future of the crown. As Britain watches with fascination, one truth remains undeniable: the story of Charles and Camilla is not over. If anything, it has entered its most perilous phase yet. The public, once willing to grant them the benefit of the doubt, now finds itself questioning whether the king and queen are as united as they seem. And in a monarchy where perception is power, that question alone may prove to be the ultimate betrayal. So we leave you with this: is Queen Camilla truly betraying King Charles, or is this just another chapter in the endless battle between love, loyalty, and power that defines the British monarchy? And more importantly, if betrayal has indeed taken root at the very heart of the crown, what does that mean for the future of the royal family, and for the people who look to it as a symbol of unity? Now it's your turn, BNews family. Do you believe Queen Camilla is truly betraying King Charles, or is this just another palace rumor spun out of control? Drop your thoughts below, because your voice shapes how history remembers these moments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more royal revelations.